Mike Tyson was sentenced to 6 years in prison in 1992, following his conviction for the sexual assault of an 18-year-old beauty pageant contestant. He served 3 years in the Indiana Youth Center, during which time he became known for his good behaviour. Tyson initially struggled with the harsh reality of prison life, as he was unable to adjust to the routine, the constant supervision, and the lack of privacy. However, he soon found solace in his cell, where he would read, meditate, and reflect on his life. During his time, Mike Tyson continued to maintain his incredible physical fitness and dedication to training. Despite being confined to a small space, he developed a rigorous workout that helped him stay in top physical condition. Mike revealed that his routine consisted of a lot of bodyweight exercises, as he did not have access to weights or gym equipment. He would start his day with a 5-mile run, followed by a circuit of push-ups, dips, and sit-ups. He would do 2,000 push-ups and 500 dips every day, along with other exercises like leg raises and crunches. Tyson's cardio was centered around running. He would run for miles around the prison yard every morning, sometimes completing as much as 8 or 9 miles per session. Running is an excellent form of cardiovascular exercise that helps to improve the body's oxygen consumption, heart rate, and lung capacity. Running for long distances also helps to build endurance and stamina, which are essential for boxers. In addition to running outside, Mike would also perform cardio exercises in his cell at night. He would run in place for hours, simulating the act of running without moving. Running in place for long periods can be very challenging, as it requires sustained effort and mental focus. Apart from running, Tyson also incorporated other forms of cardio exercise into his routine. He would skip rope for long periods, sometimes for hours on end. Skipping rope is an excellent form of cardio exercise that helps to improve coordination, balance, and agility. It is also a low-impact exercise that is easy on the joints, making it an ideal form of cardio for boxers. As Mike was unable to use free weights or machines, he focused on using his own body weight for resistance training. He incorporated a variety of calisthenics, such as push-ups, pull-ups, dips, squats, and lunges. By varying the types and intensity of the exercises, he was able to target different muscle groups and maintain his strength. Although limited, Tyson used whatever equipment was available in the prison to supplement his bodyweight training. He made use of the pull-up bars and dip bars, and even used a metal cart to perform rows and presses. He would also fill a plastic bag with water to use as a makeshift weight for curls and presses. Mike's strength routine was intense and varied. He would perform multiple sets and reps of each exercise, and often incorporate supersets and circuits for added intensity. Push-ups, a classic bodyweight exercise, effectively target the chest, triceps, and shoulders. Tyson performed variations, including wide grip, diamond, and staggered push-ups to hit different muscle groups. To focus on the back, biceps, and forearms, pull-ups are effective. Mike did multiple sets and reps of pull-ups on the prison's bar, adding chin-ups and wide grip pull-ups to the mix. Dips are also excellent for targeting the triceps, chest, and shoulders. Tyson used the dip bars, adding weight to intensify the exercise. Squats, a compound exercise that worked the legs, glutes, and core, were performed by Mike in multiple sets and reps, with added variations like jump and split squats. Lunges, a unilateral exercise that targets the legs and glutes, were executed by Tyson in walking and stationary forms, with added weight from a plastic bag filled with water. Rows were used by Mike to work the back and biceps, using a metal cart, as well as bodyweight rows on the pull-up bar. Presses were also performed by Tyson to target the chest, shoulders, and triceps, using the metal cart or water-filled plastic bags. For an extra challenge, he elevated his feet during push-ups. Despite the challenging conditions, Mike continued to train and spar with other inmates, honing his skills and keeping himself sharp. Sparring is an essential part of a boxer's routine, as it allows the fighter to practice their techniques and reactions in a real-life situation. It also helps improve their endurance and stamina, as well as their footwork and punching accuracy. He was often called upon by other prisoners to spar with them, as he was known for his incredible speed and power. However, sparring was not without its challenges. Tyson was often forced to spar with other inmates who had little or no boxing experience, which made it difficult for him to get the kind of training he needed. He also had to deal with the risk of injury, as some of the inmates he sparred with were much bigger and stronger than he was. During his time, shadowboxing became an integral part of his regimen, and he dedicated many hours each day to perfecting his technique. It is used by boxers to practice their footwork, balance, and punching techniques without a partner or opponent. It is an essential component of training for fighters of all levels, and Mike was no exception. Tyson's shadowboxing was intense and disciplined. He would spend hours in his cell practicing his footwork, striking, and defensive movements. He used the small space of his cell to his advantage, practicing his movements in close quarters to simulate the tight spaces he would face in the ring. He would move around the cell, throwing punches at imaginary opponents, and working on his defense by slipping and dodging. Furthermore, shadowboxing helped Mike to develop his mental fortitude, which was a critical factor in his success as a fighter. He had to maintain his focus and discipline in a challenging and restrictive environment, and shadowboxing allowed him to channel his energy and maintain his edge. One of the ways in which shadowboxing helped Tyson to develop his fortitude was by forcing him to confront his fears and anxieties. Shadowboxing allowed him to visualize and confront imaginary opponents. This training was essential for Mike, as he had struggled with emotional and psychological issues throughout his life, including anger management problems and depression. Tyson's shadowboxing was also a way for him to stay connected to his passion for boxing while he was incarcerated. He saw boxing as a way to escape the challenges and frustrations of his life, and shadowboxing allowed him to remain connected to that passion. Shadowboxing allowed Mike to develop a deep sense of self-awareness. This process of self-reflection and introspection was critical to Tyson's transformation, both as a fighter and as a person. Mike spent much of his time in solitary confinement, which meant that he was alone with his thoughts for long periods. This type of isolation can be mentally challenging, but it also gave Tyson the opportunity to reflect on his life and make changes. He was able to read books and work on his vocabulary, and also spent a lot of time thinking about his life and the things that were important to him. He came to understand that boxing was not just a way to make money, but it was also a way for him to express himself and his emotions. Mike also used his time to develop a positive mindset. He learned to focus on the things that he could control and to let go of the things that he couldn't. Tyson knew that he couldn't change the past, but he could control his attitude and his actions in the present. In addition to reading and thinking, Mike also took part in meditation and visualization exercises. He learned to visualize his fights in his mind. Tyson also learned to stay present in the moment. He knew that he couldn't change the past and he couldn't predict the future. Instead, he learned to focus on the present moment and to make the most of it. Mike learned to be grateful for what he had. He realized that he had taken many things for granted in his life, and he came to appreciate the simple things that he had, like his health, his family, and his freedom. One of Tyson's most notable experiences in prison was his conversion to Islam, which he credits with helping him find inner peace and a new sense of purpose. He also formed a close bond with inmate Clarence Boone, who became his mentor and spiritual guide. During his time, Mike Tyson's diet underwent a major transformation. Before his incarceration, he was known for indulging in unhealthy foods and drinks, often consuming fast food, alcohol, and other substances. However, while he was serving his sentence, Mike adopted a strict diet and exercise regimen. Tyson's diet was based on whole foods and focused on lean protein, complex carbohydrates, and healthy fats. He avoided processed foods, sugar, and excessive amounts of salt, and instead consumed a variety of fruits, vegetables, and whole grains. In addition to his meals, Mike also drank a lot of water, which helped him to keep hydrated and feeling full throughout the day. For breakfast, Tyson typically ate oatmeal, fresh fruit, and whole grain toast with peanut butter. This provided him with the energy and nutrients he needed to start his day off right. For lunch, Michael often had chicken or fish, brown rice or quinoa, and steamed vegetables. He also added healthy fats to his meals, such as avocado or nuts, to help keep him satiated and to provide his body with essential nutrients. For dinner, Tyson would usually have a similar meal to lunch, but sometimes he would switch things up and have a turkey burger or a lean beef patty. with a side salad. He also snacked on fresh fruit, nuts and protein bars throughout the day to help keep his energy levels up and his hunger at bay. One of the biggest changes in Mike's diet was his decision to cut out alcohol and other substances. In an interview with Joe Rogan, Tyson explained that he had been sober for over a decade and that he no longer consumed drugs or alcohol. Mike was released from prison in 1995 and he returned to the ring the following year, resuming his boxing career with a newfound sense of focus, discipline and maturity. Despite his imprisonment and his past controversies, Tyson remains one of the most iconic and beloved figures in the history of boxing. His dedication to training and his incredible physical and mental toughness continue to be inspirational. Athletes and fans around the world. He returned to boxing after his release. He went on to win the WBC and WBA heavyweight titles in 1996 and became a global sensation once again.